Let's see how you do under pressure. Oh, yeah. I've been wanting this forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Okay. Hey. Yeah. Ain't no errors, baby. It's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra, extra. Walk with me, you know that I got it. Come with me, let's take a trip to the islands. We up on the jet, we'll do more than just fly on it. Stand on that hill, you gon' die on it. Boom, boom. Baby, I'm not one of them, you should try on it. Miss me with all that, I'm on it and next. Whip this up, I send you back to your ex. But good luck with that, this is big as it gets. Hey, let's see how you do under pressure. Let's see how you do under pressure. Give them a name to remember. Hey, let's see how you do under pressure. Let's see how you do under pressure. A moment can live on forever. Yeah. Oh shoot, they don't let me shoot a whole clip. Firepower in this coalition. We just turn the field into a demolition.
All right, cool beans. Hope you guys enjoyed that small montage. I'm Hex. We're finally going to be going over yet another updated StamDK build for update 43. Before I forget to mention it, this build is getting nerfed as of update 44. So right now, this build is absolutely cracked right now for update 43. Once the 4v4 BGs and 8v8 BGs comes out, this build will need some tweaking around, okay? But overall, it's only one step that needs to be changed. Just getting that disclaimer out of the way. Besides that, StamDK is honestly my baby. It has honestly revived PvP for me. The amount of damage a StamDK can do is absolutely absurd right now. The healing is insane. It's so much fun. The healing is hit or miss sometimes. The thing is, you have great healing, but your heals are very expensive, so you have to be very meticulous with your heals sometimes. But the thing about I love about StamDK is that you build Ultimate Generation to make Battle Roar proc, so more ultis, more leaps, more sustain, more damage, more fun. That's the way I see it, and that's why I love my StamDK. With this build, we're able to dot somebody up. There's times where like I literally venom somebody, Noxious, they're literally almost dead, leap, dead. It's crazy how much pressure we have, especially with the set we're running a front bar that procs off every light attack. It just does absurd amount of damage right now. Absolutely insane. But before I go over how we get the strong build in order, if you guys can hit the like and subscribe button, really goes a long way. Greatly do appreciate it. I also do stream over on Twitch and YouTube, so if you guys ever want to give me a follow over there, chill with me, play live, or maybe you have any questions, you guys can always ask me on my Twitch or my YouTube. I'm very responsive over there. I try to reply in the comments, but like with how busy I am with work and doing behind the scenes stuff, yeah, I forget a lot. So if you ever wanted your questions answered, go over to my streams. I do them like every day. I stream you typically around 2 to 3 p.m. Pacific, 5 to 6 p.m. Standard Eastern Time. Around those times, that's where usually when I start my streams. So really like to see you. Also do have some memberships if you guys want to support me financially. But enough of that mouthful. Let's leap our way into the build. Alright, so let's go over the skills now. Skills are very similar to a DK. We have changed a few more, so let's go over the skills now. First skill we're going to go over is Shattering Rocks, and oh my lamb ball, this is the best morph. I used Fossilized for many years. I recently just swapped to Shattering Rocks because of my boy Seth. Shout out to you, Seth. And I'm never going back. I'm sorry, guys, for the people that ran Fossilized because of me. I'm sorry. Run this morph. Shattering Rocks is the best morph. Like, buffed up, we get a 9.2k heal. And anybody saying that's not too good, that's not too bad. The thing about this is not only are you fossilizing someone, you're stunning someone to prevent them from hitting you. And what you could do is you can go offensive, they break CC, you get a burst heal, and you're ready. You can just keep whipping them away or Flames of Oblivion away. This morph, please, if you ever have like healing, like if you ever have healing issues, run this morph. Trust me, you will relieve so much pressure off yourself. I don't recommend Fossilized Auto anymore. This is the morph. I'm so like, it's a really good morph now. Next skill is Venomous Claw. This is the bread and butter DK skill and one of my personal favorite skills of all time. So basically, you claw somebody, you do initial damage, and you also do damage over time. And the longer this dot goes on, the more damage you do. Let's buff it up, actually. Over 20k dot. That's actually pretty insane. The longer it goes on, the better it does, the more damage it does. This thing can scale up to like 132% bonus damage. It can do double damage towards the end of the ticks, which is absolutely insane. And on top of that, you put initial poison status effects on them, which is another dot which does execute damage if they're below 50% health. This skill is absolutely cracked. Now there is another skill. Say you don't like the Venomous Claw. Okay, there is another solution. If you want, you could put Whirling Blades here. If you ever wanted an execute on a DK, Whirling Blades is actually a lot of fun. Thanks to my boy Perp out there for, showing me the way of whirling blades. This skill was absolutely amazing. It was so much fun because the combos you can do. You ever hate that moment when like someone survives the sliver of health, or someone survives and they roll dodge? You can't roll dodge the whirling blades. I hit someone for a 9k uncrit whirling blades. I would have loved to see how hard I would have hit him with the crit. So this, if you ever wanted to execute this right here, is absolutely a lot of fun. Personally, I like the claw, but I do swap between the whirling blades, or spin the wind as most people call. But if you ever want to execute, definitely a solid option. You run whirling blades if you ever want to execute. Next skill is Noxious Breath. This skill is, it doesn't seem like much. It does damage in a cone in front of you. It does poison dot damage afterwards. But the main thing on top of this is that it puts major breach on the target. Reducing their armor by almost 6k. Almost 6k armor shot on a target. That's absolutely insane. And the thing about this skill, it's also an AoE cone. So if you're ever chasing a Nightblade or roly-poly, you can just keep noxiousing them and pulling them out. Or you can just keep hitting them mid-roll dodge and catch them like that. But overall, just mainly there for the major breach. Keep the skill up at all times. Next skill is Flames of Oblivion. This is our pseudo spammable. So there are 2-ish spammables. If you know someone's not going to roll dodge, this is the skill you spam. So anytime you click the skill, you shoot up to 3 fireballs. 1 fireball per target. So if there's 3 targets, you shoot 3 fireballs. If there's only 1 guy, you shoot a fireball. The thing is, every time you cast it, it keeps shooting the fireballs, which is really nice. And then it puts the dot around you, which shoots fireballs every 5 seconds after, which is absolutely insane. Now, while slotted on either bar, gotta love that. You gotta love that. You get major prophecy and savagery on both bars, increasing your weapon and spell crit by 12%. Don't get rid of the skill. This gives you crit on both bars. Now, I did say these two are your pseudo spammables. So if you know someone's not gonna roll dodge, you pop Flames of Oblivion. If you know someone's gonna roll dodge, or they've been roly-poling quite a bit, you want to hit a Noxious just to catch them off. Or you can alternate between both of them. They do about the same damage, but this one does cost stamp, so if you want some more match sustain, alternate between the both of them. But the main thing, the reason we want to spam these two is because our next skill, Molten Whip. Basically, this is our hard hitting ability. We don't ever use this, we don't ever spam this ability, because right here, this morph does, whenever you activate a different Ardent Flame ability while in combat, you gain a stack of Seething Fury, increasing the damage of your next Molten Whip by 20%, and your weapon is spell damage by 100 for 15 seconds. That could be 3 times. We can get up to 60% bonus damage on this whip and 300 weapon and spell damage to our whole kit, to our leap, to our claw, to our spin to win, to our heals. Like, that was absolutely insane. So this is our pseudo execute. So if you ever you save up for the stacks, you keep it around, you leap someone, you fossilize somebody. If I say fossilize, I mean Shattering Rock. Everyone just calls it fossilize. You finish off with a whip, and bam, it does so much damage. And if you're running spin away, you finish them off with the spin, and it just feels so clean. Next skill, obviously, Take Flight. This is honestly the most fun ultimate in the entire game. You basically launch yourself off the top ropes and crush someone into oblivion. I mean, fully buffed, with full stacks, I have a 20k lead, dude. It's absolutely cracked. If I get a good roll of saying a Seducer, I can get 25k tools. It's absolutely insane. I hit someone for a 15k lead with this build, which was absolutely cracked. This is one of the last remaining insta ultimates. I definitely recommend Take Flight because it's cheaper and also it hits harder. And just the fact that you're able, sometimes you cast the skill as an emergency resource get out of jail free card. There's times where I'm drained out of resources. I barely have enough for this ultimate. I take flight, get my resources back, and I reset the fight. For our back bar, we do run Race Against Time. This is obviously our snare minion that just happens to grant Major Expedition and Minor Force. You catch this skill for 4 seconds, you cannot be rooted, you cannot be slowed, and you get Major Expedition, moving 30% faster. Absolutely really great to get away. However, if you don't have Race Against Time or Sigic, I highly recommend, please just get Sigic. It really makes a difference. But if you can't, you could put on Protective Plate here. This is the morph of the protected skill. Protected Plate, whenever you cast a skill, you gain 4 seconds of immunity. You also reduce enemy projectiles by 50%. You reduce the damage of that, which is actually really nice. The only thing is you don't get that burst of movement speed. In this game right now, movement speed is key. If you're able to outrun your targets, you reduce the amount of damage you take. And the farther away you can get from the Zerg. Next is Hardened Armor. Now, this is a weird skill. This is obviously how we get our major resolve on the build. That's how we get our armor buff on the build, almost 6k armor. The thing is, go this morph. I really like this morph because of that shield. You know what I'm saying? Well, Hex, it's only a 5k shield in PvP. The thing about this, there's times where I pop this skill instead of a coag. This skill is 27 mag. Coag is a whopping 4300 mag. There's times where I cast the skill. If you cast a vigor and then pop this armor, you can actually see the amount you heal, which is really nice. That's why I really recommend this. There's times where I pop the hardened armor just for that shield to prevent damage taken, which is really nice. Lets my vigors take and also saves me a lot of resources. Because when you cast 2 of these, it's about 1,000 more mag than coag, but you basically got a 10k shield to protect yourself. And you're also reapplying your armor buff, which is really nice. It does last 20 seconds, which sucks. DOS, can we please make it 25 or 30 seconds? But honestly, really good armor buff. And you also do get some flavor anytime when someone hits you within melee range. You also reflect some flame damage. Does decent damage. The good thing is it could proc burning, which is really nice. Next skill is obviously Resolve and Vigor. This is our burst hot, heal a lot over 5 seconds, and grants us minor resolve. Next skill is Igneous Weapon. This is how we get major brutality and sorcery on the build, basically getting our 20% weapon spell damage for over a minute, which is actually nice. Now, the only problem is that's all it really does. It gives it to you and your group, which is nice, but like, that's pretty much it. Like other skills like Sork, they get a passive heal. Nightblade, you get minor courage, put minor coward. You know what I mean? Like, Templars get it from their spammable. I really wish it did more, but I guess. I really wish they made the other morph do more, but. Not only that, anytime you cast this skill, you also do get some stamina back because of Helping Hands, which is really nice. It really comes in handy. Also can proc Mountain's Blessing and Eternal Mountain. Wait, Mountain's Blessing. There you go. Gives us minor brutality and also some ultimate, which is really nice. It's really nice set and forget. And the thing is, you don't have to cast a skill for your minor brutality because there is a skill. If we go to Mountain's Blessing, Counter Certain Heart. Look at that. Shattering Rocks is our skill that we spam. Next skill we do run is Coagulating Blood, or most commonly referred to as Coag. This is the cheesiest heal you will ever have in PvP. Like, this thing is absolutely beyond cracked, and it's justifiable because you can only heal yourself. Yes, you get a fat burst heal, and I know a lot of people complain about it, but that's it. You can only heal yourself. Unlike any other heal, like a Breath of Life or the Healing Soul, those can heal other allies. This one, you only heal yourself, which is justifiable. Heals you for a lot. Also, based on your missing health, I'm pretty sure I created over 20k Coag. With the amount of haunts I have on this build, I'm pretty sure I created 20k Coag. I saw a 19.9k Coag on this build, which was absolutely insane. If you want, you could put the Scribing Heal skill here if you want. It's up to you personally. I don't run it, but some people do run it. If you do, put Healing with maybe some resource regen, like Drew's Resurgence, 600 mag, 600 stand back, and Major Vitality. That's what a lot of people run. And for ultimate, we are actually swapping back to Corrosive. Now you're saying, Hex, you told us to run Magma. What's going on? We tried a lot on the StamDK, and one thing I learned, thanks to my boy Seth again for selling me on Corrosive. The thing about this set, this skill, is that this thing does not let you generate ultimate, which sucks. It sucks that I can't generate ultimate, but the thing is, this gives you so much kill potential. With Magma, you're running away. You're not really turn and burning. With Corrosive, there's times where like I will turn and burn and kill 2 people, and now instead of 5 people chasing me, there's only 3, and that relieves so much pressure. Then I kill the next guy, then I get the next guy. See, it wouldn't have been possible without the Corrosive. So that's why I really like Corrosive now. It's personally up to you if you want to run Magma to be able to generate ultimate. Totally fine, but Corrosive gives you that kill potential. It catches so many people off guard. I hit like an 11k whip with this. It was absolutely insane. Fossilized 11k whip, which also fossilized does damage, and it does true damage basically with Corrosive. And on top of that, you're basically immortal, taking only 3% of your max health as damage. It's really good for running away. When you're running away, it's really good, like, you know, to survive, but the problem is once the Corrosive ends, you have 0 ultimate and you gotta start off from fresh. Magma, on the other hand, if you pop a Magma to run away, you'll basically have half a Magma ready by the time it ends. So personally, up to you. I really like Corrosive because I can go in, kill a few people, and then I just release so much pressure from the whole fight. All right, but enough of that with stat sheets. All right, so let's go over the stat sheets now. All you gotta do is pop a simple tripod. You can either craft them yourself or pop the crown tripods. They do the exact same thing. So that's all we gotta do. Pop it real quick, and let's show our stat sheet. So for our So for max mag, we do have over 15k, very nice. Max health over 33.3k, juicy. Max am just shy of 24k. Now our recov is fully buffed. Mag recov 1231 and stam recov 1420. Might look low, I know it does look pretty low. The thing is, we are a StamDK, we are a DK. We get our sustain from our battle orb, and in this build we have access to major heroism and we have blood spawn, which just gives us so much ultimate. So theoretically on this build we can have like 2500 mag and stam recov if you're getting the right procs. Like, it's absolutely insane. That's where the true recovery comes from. Now if this does feel a little weird for you, there are another setup. You could be pushing almost 2k mag and stam recov if you were to run Wretched Vitality. More on that when I go over the sets. But weapon and spell damage, we will have to go to someone else's house because you do need to go in combat to be able to proc your whip stacks. So let's go over there now. All right, so here we are. So if you're ever wondering how to build some extra weapon and spell damage, all you gotta do is be in combat and just cast one of these 3 skills 3 times so you build up stacks. So if I cast my Flames of Oblivion or my Noxious, I'm not building any stacks. However, as soon as I go into combat, I'm able to build stacks. You see that? I get 1 stack, get another stack, get another stack. If I cast the same skill, I get another stack. See that? So that's how you do it. So basically all you gotta do is that, buff up, pop your molten armaments, and there you go. Fully procced. Our weapon and spell damage is 50, our weapon damage is 5770, which could go even higher if we get a major courage proc. Let's see if we can get it. So fully proc weapon and spell damage could go up to 6355, and look at that, 20.6k leap, 20k vigor. Like, it's absolutely insane. So all you gotta do. So realistically though, if you have your full molten whip stats, realistically you're more than likely gonna have 5900 weapon damage, which is very nice. Don't get me wrong, it's very nice. 5770 without a Sunder proc, which is still really good. It might look low, but you have to realize we are heavily invested into a proc set. Now for our crit, we're almost at 30%, which is very nice. I really like this. I wish I could push it up a little bit more, but right now it's very nice. And our penetration at 6100, which is really solid on a StamDK. Plus we have access to major breach from our Noxious, plus potential minor breach. So theoretically we can have like 15k pen on somebody, even 12k, or if you really wanted to. Now for a resist, all you gotta do is go up to your back bar, pop your armor, pop your vigor, and there you go. So spell resist over 28.8k and physical resist over 28.1k. Very nice. And our crit resist is at 2112. That is equivalent to plus 20. That is equivalent to 32% damage reduction from the bonus damage of crits. For attributes, we do have 20 points in the health and 44 points in stam. I felt this was nice. If you feel like you need more health, pump some more points in the health, or if you feel like you need more stam, go ahead, put more points in the stam. Perfectly up to you. For the food, we do run the Jewels of Mistral, saying that purple food is perfectly fine. We do run, and for our Mundus, we do run the Thief. If you know me, you know that I love crit. Without the Thief, we would probably be at like 24% crit. With the Thief, we're at 30%. This is increasing our chance to do bonus damage and also get bonus healing. And that's got me sold. Because when you crit, you hit really hard. Because critting is, when you crit your combo, you're putting pugs down and it pressure sweats to the point where you can catch them off guard and actually put them down as well. But if you are newer to DK or you are having more sustain issues, I would definitely recommend the Atro. The Atro is a very good Mundus. This would be really good if you are running the trickery build and you want more sustain. Go the Atro. If you feel like you need more sustain, run some magic drain poison on the back bar. Or if you feel like you want more damage, straight up more raw damage, you could go the Shadow or you could go the Warrior. And we obviously are a stage 3 vampire for one simple passive. Undeath. The lower health we are, the tankier we become. Now this did get a nerf. It's no longer up to 30%. They did half it. So when you were half health, before you would get 15% damage mint, now at half health you get like 7-8% damage mint. Which, this is where you guys were wondering, like, am I still going to be a stage 3 vamp? Honestly, for me, I fight super outnumbered. I can handle the sustain issues, so I think I can run Undeath. But let's say you're running more in BGs, or, if you're running more in BGs, or you're running more in a group, I think you can drop Undeath. The sustain would be really nice. So it depends what you want. If you want more sustain, you drop Vampire. If you want more tankiness and you feel like you can sustain fine, then you keep stage 3s. Personally, up to you. Before you had to be a vampire, now it's personally up to you. Now it's personal preference, which I really do enjoy. I personally still like Undeath. I'll take any mitigation I can get. And for my race, I'm an Imperial. Obviously, Imperial, my opinion, is hands down the best open world stam race out there. Tough increases our max health by 2k, the most max health from a racial passive. Imperial Metal increases our max stam by 2k, plus the best pay to win, best racial passive, Red Diamond, reduces the cost of all your abilities by 6%. Your mag, health, stam abilities cost 6% less. Your ultimates cost 6% less. Your core combat skills cost less. Your roll dodge, CC breaks, bash, blocking, roll dodging if you're doing that for whatever reason, sneaking, all cost 6% less, which is absolutely nice. So if you are a stage 3 vampire, this almost nullifies the fact we're a stage 3. Or if you're not a vampire, this just gives you insane amount of sustain. The only problem is you do need to pay for Imperial. Now, if you don't have Imperial, these are the good options. Probably the second best is, honestly, in my opinion, would probably be Orc. Orc is beyond crazy. A lot of max health, a lot of max stam. You get to heal anytime you attack. You also move really fast when you sprint away. Very nice. You could be a Nord. Nord is very good. Khajiit works on almost any build. Dark Elf, you're kind of pushing it. Wood Elf could work maybe on this build. Anything else, I kind of stay away from. And I'm sorry to say this, Redguard is probably the worst race. Please don't be a Redguard. All right, but in fact, let's go over the sets now. All right, so let's go over the sets now. Very similar. We have changed basically just one set. Just to let you know, one of the sets is getting nerfed next patch. So please, just so you're aware when we go over that set, okay? Just so you're aware. We'll go more over that when we go over the set. But let's go over the other sets. Main set we are running is Daedric Trickery. Daedric Trickery is basically mandatory this patch. This is what you want to run on your StamDK. Now, there is another option before I forget. The other option, thank goodness for PC add-ons, Wretched Vitality. Wretched Vitality is another great alternative. You can choose one or the other. I will give my insights on which one. So if you are more of a newer player, I definitely recommend Wretched Vitality. But if you are more of an experienced DK or you want to learn the higher role StamDK or Mag DK, Daedric Trickery is the way to go. When you do damage, which let me tell you, you do a lot of damage. You have dot damage plus. Your armor buff will always reflect damage, and someone's always going to be melee range. So you're always going to be proccing this on cooldown on your back bar. Whenever you do damage, you gain one of 5 random major buffs. Major protection, 10% damage reduction. Major expedition, 30% movement speed. Major mending, 16% increased healing. Major vitality, 12% healing received. And shield strength, which affects our DK armor skill, and my most favorite of them all, Major Heroism, which basically grants us 3 ultimate generation every 1.5 seconds, which basically almost doubles our ulti gen. Not only does it let us spam ults and just have fun, it also gives us sustain, because on a DK ulti generation is sustained because of this beautiful passive Battle Roar. So that's why it double dips. And it's also defensive too, because if you get faster ultimates, you're able to pop more magmas or more corrosive. So like it's just very perfect for the DK, because like right now damage is through the roof. Damage is really high, and like one of the problems you kind of see on DK is your healing can be weird. You have a burst heal, but the problem is it's very expensive, so you can't spam it. You have one hot, which is Vigor, which every build has. So that's the problem. You kind of have to find, like, when you hit a coag, you need to full heal you. And that's what I really like. If you proc a major mending into a major vitality, you are shooting through the roof, getting nearly a 20k coag. It's insane. Pair that with the rest, though, we're getting insane healing. The thing is, you have to play around your ultimates. Your sustain will very much suffer, so you can't like roly-poly, and like you will have to focus on heavy attacks, knowing when you can't go in. But let's say you just want to learn, you just want to have fun, just jump into the battle, don't worry about resources, then I would definitely recommend Wretched Vitality. Right here, being able to get to 400 base magic and stamina recovery. And that's base. Your major recovers from pods, from minor buffs, passives, light armor, medium armor, even continuous attacks. There's so many ways to buff this. You're easily getting 500, even 600 recov sometimes with the set, which is very nice. You proc one race against time, you insta proc this, and on cooldown, if you're popping your vigors and your coags on cooldown, you have this 100% uptime. Really nice for the sustain. The only problem is you are very squishy. However, you are able to roll dodge more, so you can avoid more damage. Personally, up to you. I really like the Daedric Trickery. It is a little bit more of like it takes a little bit more. It's a little trickier, pun intended. It's a little trickier to get the hang of it. Once you learn the mini game of Battle Roar with Major Heroism, it becomes a little easier. But Wretched Vitality, you just put this on, you're ready to go. For the monster set, we do run obviously Bloodspawn. Bloodspawn on the DK is like butter on toast. You can't have one without the other. When you take damage, you have a 6% chance to generate 13 ultimate and increase your physical and spell resistance by 37-31. That's a lot, dude. That's a lot. This effect can occur once every 5 seconds. So basically, you get 13 ultimate, which makes you pop more ultis, which can be offensive or defensive. And on a DK, you have Battle Roar, which gives you more sustain. On top of that, you get even more armor on top of it, which is absolutely insane. The go-to monster set, if you want, you could put Battle Arcs. I recommend Battle Arcs more for dueling or BGs, but open world or even in duels and BG, I recommend Bloodspawn. It's just so much fun. There's a time where I leaped somebody, I killed somebody, and 5 seconds later, I already had another leap ready to go. And next we do run One Piece training because this is a meta from bar back bar setup with a mythic. Why One Piece training? Because we do have one slot available, so why not slot training? And our mythic we do run, obviously the goated mythic, the best mythic in the game, the Saint and the Seducer. The Saint and Seducer is hands down like the best mythic in the game right now. What's there to be said? So basically, when you are in combat, you get 1 of 5 random major buffs, and depending on what major buff you get, you also put a ring around you, and any enemy within that ring gets a minor debuff corresponding to your major buff. So you can proc Major Berserk, you can get Major Berserk, and anyone within that ring will get minor maim, reducing their damage done by 5%. The only downside, because every mythic does have a downside, like Death Dealers, you got to build it up. Marking, you got to build it right. Sea Serpents, you get that snare. There is a pseudo downside, is Major Resolve. You're going to have Major Resolve from your own armor buff, so this might be a wasted thing. But the thing is, you also do put Minor Breach on enemies around you, and as a DK, you're always within melee range, which is 3k armor shred, which is absolutely insane. So basically, there is really no bad one. The only bad one is maybe Major Resolve. Next, Major Force increases critical damage done by 20% and minor brittle to the enemies, increasing their damage taken by crits, which is, this is crack. That's right there. If you crit your leap in a Major Force, good night. Good night, dude. Major Evasion reduces damage taken from AoEs by 20%, and Minor Vulm, enemies take 5% bonus damage. Major Courage, which is honestly one of my more favorite ones, increases your weapon and spell damage by 430 and afflicts them with minor cowardice, reducing their weapon and spell damage by 215, which affects their damage and also their heals. That's less weapon and spell damage for their coags, their vigors, their healing siphons, the malevolent offering. Like that's where this gets out of hand. Bit of a mouthful, I know. I explain it every time because half of my viewers are always new viewers, new to PvP, so that's why I like to go over it. Now, obviously, some great alternatives. Let's go over the alternatives real quick. One of the major alternatives is Death Dealer's Feet. This is obviously a really good alternative. So basically, after like a minute of fighting, you basically get like 2680 magic stam and health, which is base. So like after Undaunted and certain racial passives, or not racial passives, like Undaunted passives, like Mage's Guild passives, you can have maybe even like 3k of certain resources, which is actually nice. Another one would be obviously Marking Ring of Majesty. This was my baby for the longest until Sage Seducer came out. Keep being able to get to 200 weapon and spell damage, over 2300 armor. Just here you go for free, don't have to think. Or you could run Sea Serpents. I'd recommend Sea Serpents more for a do I not have Sea Serpents? I have it. I do have it. Whatever. I couldn't find it in there. Whatever. Or Sea Serpents. This one now, the problem with this one, you do get Major Berserk and Major Courage, which is absolutely insane. However, you do get that abysmal snare. Now in open world, the snare is basically a death sentence. Now you could put some Swift, but that really hinders that set of jewelry to the Sea Serpents. So what I really like, so I would recommend this for dueling and maybe BGs. That's what I recommend. Open world, do not run this, please. Don't run this open world. And for the last set we do run, we are running the newest set that just came out this patch. My baby, my pride and joy, the absolute reason I am loving my StamDK right now, and that is Pyrebrand. Pyrebrand is beyond crazy, and before I forget, I'm just gonna get out, this unfortunately is getting nerfed next patch. This is getting nerfed. So if you're wondering about grinding out the set right now, as of update 43, this is like the strongest set in the entire game. I had a feeling they were going to nerf it, but they're over nerfing the next patch. Next patch, it's looking like it's okay. It's not going to be amazing like it is right now. Let's go over it first. So that's why. So I'm just giving you a heads up. So if you are farming it or planning on farming it, you can enjoy it this patch. Next patch is unfortunately getting a nerf. 2 to 4 piece. Offense pen, amazing on a DK. Absolutely, it should be a war crime to get offense pen on a DK. 2 to 4 piece, weapon and spell damage, absolutely amazing on StamDK. Just absolutely amazing. The 5 piece, your light attacks deal X amount of flame damage over 6 seconds. I mean, just buffing up normally. Right here, 9124. This thing can go up to 10k once we have our full Seething Fury procs from our whip. If we have full whip stacks, we can push this up to 10k. If you have a continuous attack, you're pushing well over 10k. The thing about this set is every time you light attack, it puts the DoT. The first tick of the DoT does damage instantly. If you light attack again, it puts it again instantly, and then it goes off every 2 seconds after. So that's where it gets out of hand. There is a little thing, your fully charged heavy attacks comes to 1 to 3 of the enemy's dots to deal X amount of flame damage in an area round, dealing up to 200% more damage to enemies below 33%. I'm just gonna say right now, just forget about that. Don't worry about the heavy attacks. If they happen, they happen, but don't go for that heavy attack. Don't be like, oh, he's low health, let me heavy attack him. You're giving him 2 seconds to roll dodge or pop a burst heal or get away. That's why the heavy attacks, don't worry about it. Please just forget that even exists, okay? The main thing about this set is the light attack damage. That's where this set gets out of hand. It's nice that you can do fire damage. There was one time where like I heavy attacked the guard because the Nightblade went stealth. It did AoE damage and it pulled the Nightblade out of stealth. So there you could do some small things like that, but mainly this set is strictly for the light attacks. The thing about this is this damage scales up higher off your weapon and spell damage, and by 20% for each damage over time effect the target has, up to 60%. So we have Claw, and we also do have our noxious status effects like burning and poison do not practice, unfortunately. Now this thing says the enemy dots, so that means if I'm playing with a buddy or they're dotted up from somebody else, this counts for me. So let's say I'm yellow, right, and I'm fighting a red and a blue shows up and dots him up, I get more damage because he's dotted up from him. Or if I have one of my boys help me and my boy has him dotted up, that's extra damage I'm getting. So that's really nice right there. So this thing does even more damage than it shows on the tooltip. And the thing about this, it can crit, which it shouldn't. That's the Dark Nerfing. And also it has a high chance to proc burning. Every time you light attack, you have like with charge, you have like a 20-30% chance of proccing burning, which does damage instantly. You light attack again, it procs the set again, which can proc burning yet again. And you see where it gets out of hand. Now this set is getting nerfed. It's no longer gonna be able to crit. They're reducing the overall damage by 18% only for the light attack. And also, what was the other one? They're also reducing the chance of proccing burning with the set. Now they are buffing the heavy attack next patch to this one. Again, this is only used for the light attack. Bit of a mouthful, but honestly, this set is beyond crazy. There's times where I look at my combat metrics and this thing is literally always at the top 1 or 2. There's times where this out damages everything in my whole kit, and there's times where like over a prolonged fight, this is number 2 next to my Venomous Claw. This set is absolutely crazy, and that's not to account the amount of times burning procs from this. That's why it is getting nerfed. I know, and anybody's saying, well, why are you releasing it? I'm just letting you know, for those people that were wondering or are farming Pyrobrand, it's absolutely goated this patch. Next patch is looking like it's taking a big hit. It's not going to be totally useless next patch, but it's definitely not going to be as powerful. Now, if you don't have Pyrobrand, it does come from Infinite Archive. It can be a bit of a grind. Also, Infinite Archive is base game. Everybody has it for free, so all you have to do is zoom out, go to Apocrypha, and Infinite Archive, it's free. Everyone can go in there, so you can farm it. You don't need DLC. Now, let's say you don't want to run this set for whatever reason, or you are looking at this build next patch to say, oh, what are you going to run for update 44? So there are a few things I'm going to be running for update 44. One that I'm looking at is Order's Wrath. I'm thinking about running Order's Wrath. I've been loving high crit on DK. When you have a high crit on DK, DKs don't crit often, but when they do, they hit extremely hard. So I might be running Order's Wrath. Another really good one, like a last patch, would probably be Oak Fathers. Oak Fathers is absolutely beyond cracked right now. Like, it's probably one of the best sets in the entire game. What's another one? And Way of the Fire is also a really good one. Way of the Fire. And lastly, what was the other one? Oh, and Shattered Fate could be also good too. Those are the options. I would definitely recommend either Oak Fathers or Order's Wrath. Then I would go down into Way of the Fire and then go down into Shattered Fate. That's kind of like the hierarchy I would have for this. Alright, so now the way we run it. So for the front bar, we do run double bases of Pyrobrand, because obviously we want penetration, and PvP penetration is king. On the main hand, we do run an Absorb Salmon enchant. With the Nerd Home, please on the main hand, make your Nerd Home. It makes a difference. Absorb Salmon enchant, good for the damage, good for the sustain. Mainly there to be able to proc Sundered. Because whenever you do physical damage, you have a chance to proc Sundered. which enchants have the highest chance, 20% at base. Basically reducing their armor by 3k, putting minor breach, and also granting you, the caster, 100 weapon spell damage. So if I proc Sundered on you from this enchant, I get 100 weapon spell damage and you get minor breach. Next, we do run another Pyrobrand Mace, obviously. Now, we do run a poison enchant. Now, you may be wondering, Hex, aren't we a DK? Aren't we always dotting them up? The thing is, single target dots have one of the lowest chances to proc a status effect. I think it's like 3% at base. On our build, we're probably pushing like 9-10% from each dot tick. I just like it because it's almost always guaranteed with our trait, because we do run one piece charged. That's extra damage. That's extra potential for our Pyrobrand and our poison, so that's why I like it. You could go poison, you could go Magicka enchant, you can go almost anything on this offhand. It's personally up to you. I like poison just to keep that poison damage rolling, because there's sometimes where I light attack someone and it procs poison and they're at low health and they die to the poison. And on the back bar, we do run a Restoration Staff with Danger Trickery, or if you are running Wretched Vitality, you run a Resto. So wherever there is wherever Danger Trickery is, if you say you want to run Wretched Vitality, you just swap out whatever Danger Trickery is for Wretched Vitality. Now we do run a Resto. I do run double dot poison on this. You could run whatever you want. There was this guy, Evasive Miss. Shout out to him. He told me about double heal poisons. I might check those out. I don't know how to make them. I'm gonna learn soon. You could put a Magicka Drain Poison. If you need more magic sustain, you could put a Magic Drain Poison. Or let me show them actually. If you feel like you need more mag sustain, you could make a Drain Magicka Poison, restores mag over 5 seconds, or a Drain Stamina Poison if you feel like you need more stamina sustain. Really nice. I really like those. So those are the ones I really recommend. Or you could do a Weapon of Spell Damage enchant. Personally up to you. Just make it defending because tankiness is next to godliness. Now you may be wondering, why a Resto? Why not Ice Staff? The reason I go Resto is because of these beautiful passives. Restoration Expert increases your healing up by 15% while below 30% to allies. Believe it or not, you are considered your own ally and you can benefit from this. So you basically get a unique form of major mending on this. When you're low health, Cycle Life, our fully charged heavy attacks restore 30% more mag, which is really nice. We are heavy attacking a lot on this build. And Essence Drain, anytime we do a fully charged heavy, we get on-demand major mending. I'm saying what we get from Trickery, right? The thing is, this is on-demand. Like, if you have other buffs and you're not getting major mending, you can get it from here. You proc a major vit, you're golden. It's just icing on the cake when you go for magic. Now, if you want, you could go an Ice Staff, obviously, really good. You just opt to put Ancient Knowledge. Basically, the reason you would go Ice Staff is because now you have a form of being able to heavy attack for magic. That's the main reason we want to go Ice Staff or Resto, because we're able to regen magic when we need to. The only passive you really need is Ancient Knowledge. The only thing is, you get all these passives except Tri-Focus. 0 points in Tri-Focus, or else your blocking will cost mag and that feels weird. But the only one that really matters is Ancient Knowledge. But if you want, you could go Sword and Board. It's personally up to you. Now the only problem with Sword and Board and Dual Wield is there's no way for you to generate magic. And if you do go Sword and Board, the way I recommend it is a Sturdy Shield with a Tri-Set enchant and a Decisive Sword. That's the way I would do it personally. You could go Powered. For the body, we do run the typical 3-3-1, 3 heavy, 3 medium, 1 light. So we do run a heavy helm, heavy chest of Pyrobrand, heavy shoulders of Bloodspawn, a light sash of Pyrobrand, medium hands and feet of Danger Trickery, and medium legs of the Trainee. For the enchants, if you can, try set all the pieces. If you can't do that, try set the big pieces. What I mean by that is head, chest, and legs. And if you can't do that, max damage is perfectly fine. Just adjust your health attributes at the end. And for the traits, typical Steel Approval Hex traits. 6 Impen, 1 Reinforce. The only Reinforce I have is a heavy chest of the Pyrobrand, Reinforce, and the rest Impen. Now, if you want some more heavy Reinforced pieces or some well-fitted, go ahead. That's what I like about builds. We fit to our playstyle. And for the jewelry, we do run the same Seducer neck because it only comes in the neck. Duh. And a ring of Pyrobrand and a ring of Danger Trickery. Or Wretched Vitality, obviously. Whatever I'm saying, Danger Trickery. If you want to run Wretched Vitality, swap it out for Wretched Vitality. All infused, all weapon and spell damage, all with mag recup. If you have some or all with stam recup, it really wouldn't make or break the build. I really like full infused weapon and spell damage because not only does it increase our damage up front, it also boosts our heals. That's 300 base weapon and spell damage to our heals. After modifiers, that's like 360, not even like almost 400 weapon and spell damage to our heals, which is absolutely crack on the DK. And for the food, simple Joseph Mitchell saying that purple food is perfectly fine. Gives a lot of max health and recup of everything. But if you got Deep Pocket or don't mind spending a little extra, or Zaka Smoke Bear Haunch gives you about 400 more max health and slight more reco, like 12 more health and mag reco and stam reco. And for the pots, simple tripods. You can either craft them yourself, or the crown tripods work the exact same way. Basically gives us a burst of health, mag, and stam, and reco of everything. Alright, but enough of that, let's go over the CP now. So let's go over the CP now. Focus Man increases our healing deal with single target heals, which is all our heals from DK, Shattering Rocks, Coax, Vigors, even our Battle Roar gets increased by this. Deadly Aim increases our damage with single target attacks. The reason I like to run this one is because our whips are single target and all our dots are single target, so it double dips. Now the only thing that won't be affected is our leaps. Other than that, everything gets affected on our kit, and our initial damage of Noxious. But the Noxious dot, Poison dot, Burning dot, Venomous Claw dot all get affected by this. And Ironclad reduces our damage taken from direct damage attacks. And the last CP, there is a flex spot. Now I did go between two. You can either run Untamed Aggression, you could go Master at Arms, Finding Finesse, or the one I've been running a lot lately, if you are in open world, I definitely recommend Cleansing Revival. There's been a huge influx of people running Geralds, a set that can reduce your healing taken by 35%. The thing about this set is when you drop low health, you purge everything. You remove every single dot from you, remove everything. There's been times where like I'm almost drained out. This procs, I remove everything. I'm able to fully start healing back up. So personally up to you. If you want more damage, Finding Finesse, Master Arms will increase your whip damage and leap damage, or Untamed Aggression would increase everything, all damage and all healing, but it wouldn't do as much as the percentage modifiers. And for the red CP, typical Silver Approval red Hex CP. Celerity increases our movement speed by up to 10%. Honestly, in my opinion, the best CP in the entire game. Survival Instinct, well affected with the net status effect. Reduce the cost of our core combat skills. This includes roll dodge, block, CC break, bash, sneak for whatever reason you're doing that. Pain's Refuge, the more negative effects we have active once the tankier we become, and Sustained by Suffering, while fitted with a negative effect, increase our mag, health, and stamina reco by 150. And trust me, people just look at you these days and they'll put you in a negative effect. If you have an LE set, that's a negative effect. If you have if a Nightblade even looks at you these days, they put a negative effect on you. It's crazy. And for the green CP, Rationer, Liquid Efficiency, Gift of Rider, and Steve's Blessing. But the only one that truly matters is Breakfall. That's the only one that will actually be affected in PvP. Anything else doesn't really matter. Get Breakfall, then Steve's Blessing, and then the other ones you can get as you go. But the main one, all you want is Breakfall. That's all that matters. But alright, cool beans, that's the build. Hope you guys did enjoy it. Honestly, StamDK honestly has revived PvP for me. Firebrand really makes me want to play this game a lot. It's sad that they're nerfing my baby, but it is what it is. So I'm going to abuse it while I still can. So if you are thinking about grinding it, if you are close to finishing it, finish it off, enjoy it. If you were thinking about it, just know that it is going to be nerfed. However, as of right now, update 4.3 is beyond cracked. Once the BGs, ABA BGs, and 4v4 BGs comes out, this set is probably going to be not as used as much anymore, unfortunately. But what I like about DK is just a dot pressure. It's so much fun to dot somebody up, leap them into oblivion, and just have another leap like in 10 seconds. It's absolutely so much fun. But alright, hope you guys did enjoy the build video. For all those that just still sticking around to the end of the video, I do stream over on Twitch and on YouTube. So if you want to see me play live, or if you ever want to, have any questions to answer, I do try to reply in the comments, but usually I'm at work or I'm busy. So if you ever want your comment, like any questions responded, hop over to my Twitch or my YouTube. I do stream live every day at typically around 2 or 3 Pacific, around 5, 6 Eastern time. So if you ever want to catch me or just chill with me, right there. Also, I do have some memberships if you guys want to support me financially. Follow my Twitch. But as always, hope you guys did enjoy the build video. Like the video if you liked it. Comment your thoughts experience with the build. Also, anything I might have missed out, what video I should do next. Subscribe for more, but most importantly, stay Zergin.